Hello, you're listening to ReedyGeeks, a Walt Disney World podcast. My name is Andrew, and I'm joined today by Spaceship Earth is my weenie, Sean.
Yeah, it's true. Technically, it's true. To scale.
And Disney Match 5. What? Really?
You can see from the chest up.
And Disney Match 5 fixer, JJ.
I guess the game was a little rigged last week, huh?
In today's episode, the Geeks start an attraction spotlight series on one of our favorite attractions, the Haunted Mansion.
So that's what our music sounds like, huh?
Yeah,
that's right.
Sounded like. I knew that.
Welcome, foolish mortals, to the beginning of a most unusual journey. Before it housed 999 happy haunts, the Haunted Mansion lingered in limbo, promised in Disneyland's earliest plans, but left empty for over a decade. Its gates remained closed, its halls silent, as Imagineers wrestled with how to balance fear and fun. In this episode, we take our seats and lower the safety bar on part 1 of our Haunted Mansion deep dive. But heed this warning. The spirits behind this attraction's creation will only materialize if you remain safely seated with your curiosity in at all times.
Wow, look at you. I guess I don't even have to talk, right? I don't have to give any of this. You did a great job.
Thank you. I think we can go now, right?
Yeah,
We all know about the Haunted Mansion.
Yeah.
So in this week, we are going to explore the history of the Haunted Mansion, specifically the Disneyland Haunted Mansion, and how it developed from creation all the way to opening. Our focus on the next part of the series is going to be the Magic Kingdom and other Disneyland parks, also the reception and legacy of the Haunted Mansion. But we have to start and give credit where it's due in Disneyland, because that's the OG Haunted Mansion. So today, JJ has prepared for us a deep dive into the history of the Disneyland Haunted Mansion.
Really, where do you begin when you're talking about the Haunted Mansion? I could just say that it's the most historic thing to happen in the year 1969 as it opening, right?
Oh, nothing else happened.
Nothing else happened that year, right?
Specifically the summer. Nothing.
Yeah, no, nothing happened that summer. Neil something?
I was thinking of the New York Mets.
Oh, well.
Oh, wow.
Oh, okay. Well,
way more important to pop culture.
Neil Armstrong, right? That's his name. Some guy.
That's the cyclist.
Some guy went to space. I don't know.
Yeah. Actually,
not the cyclist.
I wasn't thinking that either. I was thinking of the song, The Summer of 69, which didn't come out in the Summer of 69, but,
That was also Woodstock.
That's Woodstock, yeah.
That's also depending on who you ask, that the Summer of 69 is not necessarily about the year.
No, protests, right?
Yeah, that's what it was about. The Summer of 69 was about protests. We're a family podcast.
I want to go back. Can we take that out, actually? I want to go back.
Well, okay. So to me, the story of the Haunted Mansion starts in 1948. So buckle up. Walt is visiting the Chicago Railroad Expo. And I know we've kind of touched on Walt was a train guy.
That man loved the train.
Yeah, but this wasn't like a car show. Like when I heard Walt visited the train expo, and I'm like, that's weird. It's not weird because Walt, but it's not like the car show where you just see next year's car model. It was a full celebration of 100 years of American history with the train. It was the 100th anniversary of the train. So it was a celebration of what the train brought people.
How do you have an expo like that every year? Once you do it once, isn't it done?
I think it was just a one-time thing in 1948. It was 100 years of the train in the United States.
Oh, okay.
So it was a big centennial thing, or at least it wasn't to this scale. So it had parades, attractions that talked about U.S. history, the history of the train, exhibits about Native American culture. And in the 1 year, 2.5 million people visited this train expo. So this wasn't just for nerds. To put that in context, That is almost exactly how many people visited our Six Flags last year, Six Flags Great Adventure. It would be the 55th most visited theme park in the world, which doesn't sound that high. But when you think about that, it's the same level as Six Flags Great Adventure. It's just under Alton Towers in the UK, which is a famous theme park, and Phantasialand in Germany, which I've mentioned before because they had a really cool, like heavily themed flying roller coaster in one of our Armchair Imagineering episodes. I mentioned that park.
And there's just so many more people now.
And there's so many more people, and it's so much easier to get places because we have cheap flights.
Yeah. Yeah,
it's so much easier. Yes. So it's really impressive that it got 2.5 million people that year. This success is kind of a spark that an idea that Walt had been toying with about making an amusement park was a good idea. So he, wants to put it right next to his studio, right in Burbank, right across the street. So he's starting to talk to like the city and the town and trying to figure out like, what is this amusement park? He describes it to his team. He starts building a team. He's like, basically taking his animators and his doers and starting to pivot them to like idea men. And like, basically a lot of these people are the people that like end up being the first Imagineers. So he, in late August of that year of 1948, he describes, quote, Mickey Mouse Park to his team. And it's a bunch of planned attractions, but he could never get it off the ground with Burbank. Yeah, it's got a lot of stuff. It's like it's very Main Street USA kind of themed, but throughout. Like it's just one theme, and more of an amusement park than a full blown theme park. However, since the Burbank thing dies down, town's not really that into it. He finds that Anaheim will let him buy a much bigger place, and that becomes Disneyland. And I did not know this, but at one point, the idea for Disneyland was being labeled Disneylandia.
Okay.
So that's very odd. But all along, why I say this starts in 1948 is because one of the concepts in the Mickey Mouse Park plans was he envisioned like an old house up on a hill, which would be a haunted house attraction. And he says that people love to be scared, which is something that maybe we feel like Bob Iger needs to remember a little bit. Is that
make Disney scary again?
Like I said, we know he's listening.
Yes. Yeah. I do want to just say though that I kind of like the idea of Mickey Mouse Land or something like that. I mean, I wonder what made him decide to be so self-involved to name it Disneyland. You know what I mean? Like to switch it from the
Mickey Mouse
focus
Park
being Mickey Mouse to him.
I would imagine that because the lands, it got so much bigger with themed lands that it just took on its own thing.
It was more than Mickey.
Yeah, and I think he specifically left Walt out of the name because he considered it the Disney Company's land.
Right. Okay.
Because that was a big thing was why it was called the Florida Project. The only reason why it's called Walt Disney World is because Walt died.
I was gonna say what was the reason that Disney in Florida has his name, so it's just basically a memorial.
Because he died. But
Roy decided that.
Yeah, Roy named it. Roy named it after his brother. And this won't be the last time we talk about Walt dying today, so that's good.
Nice.
So Disneyland opens. There's no haunted house, but the ideas evolved. It's going to be a future attraction coming to the New Orleans Square expansion. Everybody's really excited about it. All the animators that are now Imagineers are starting to tinker with ideas and developing their thoughts on what a haunted house should look like at Disneyland. So 1957, Ken Anderson, Claude Coates, they're trying to get inspiration on this. So they visit a place called Winchester House in San Jose, which is in itself a haunted mansion. It's a historical home, large place, but it has really odd like construction, and it's because the people that lived there were making these weird decisions to like appease the ghosts. Like they were like trying to communicate with the ghosts, and like the ghosts want a stairway that goes to nowhere, and like so it's like full of all these like weird things that just like aren't normal for a house to have. Then other guys, people that are more like film trick based guys. So this is Raleigh Crump and Yale Gracie. They're making like all these visual tricks and effects, and ones that end up on the ride are being conceived in like the late 50s, early 60s, before the Haunted Mansion is even there. Everyone's so excited with all these little ideas for this haunted house that they build the mansion. They build the facade in 1963. So 6 years before this ride opens, there's a mansion with nothing in it. And
that's what I alluded to in our opening.
Yes, in the opening, you said like it stood there. So it stood there for 6 years. It was thought about for 12 years, because in 56, 57, they knew that, we're going to have to build this haunted house in New Orleans Square.
Yeah.
So the house was constructed after the park opened, or for the park's opening. So but nothing. It was basically just facade and decoration until they decided
exactly.
to do something like that. Is there anything in the research you did to why New Orleans Square specifically?
I did actually not look into the
because I just thought of it off the top of my head, because like you don't really hear many other names like that in the parks, like specifically like in Hollywood Boulevard, but that's specifically you're in a park about Hollywood.
Why does New Orleans Square exist?
Oh yeah, not why is it in New Orleans Square, because that actually makes sense because of all the hauntings and ghost stories about New Orleans, but maybe that leads to the idea of why. But why specifically?
No, Walt loved New Orleans. He loved the architecture. He loved the style. Andrew, what is that?
Well, yeah, that the architecture and style is very unique and different than really anywhere else in the United States because of its French inspiration. But also, he wanted to show people of California something that they probably haven't seen. And that's why New Orleans is left out in Florida, because they're going to be pulling a lot of people from the Gulf area. And so they've already probably seen New Orleans.
Right. There is probably a place where it's a 5-hour drive to New Orleans and a 5-hour drive to Disney World.
Yes.
Yeah. Here's another sidebar. Maybe we should go a little easier on Tron. There was a pandemic in the middle of the building.
Yes. It is on Tron level like amount of time.
No, this is way more than Tron.
Well, Tron was what, 5 years? Or 6?
No, it was, hold on. So it was 5 years, right? It was like 2018 to 2023.
Yeah, but when the Haunted Mansion finally opened, it was a good ride.
Wow. So shots fired. Come on.
Firing shots at Tron.
It is a good ride. Come on. You weren't thrilled? You weren't like,
not
excited?
At all. Not at all. No.
Not at all.
The only cool part of it, and it's over in a split second. So I wasn't wowed by it. I would go on it again, but like I wouldn't like go out of my way to buy a pass for it, and I don't think I'd wait more than a half hour or 40 minutes to ride it. But I was to say I was let down by that was maybe an understatement.
How long did you wait to begin with?
We went right at the end of the day. Like the park was closed and we got on the line, so we waited maybe 20 minutes.
Oh, and you saw it at night.
Yeah,
man,
it was the last
thing. It was the night ride.
It was like 10 o'clock at night.
Boys, watch your manners.
Yeah, if you can't say something nice.
Boys.
Okay, so it's 1963. They built the facade. They're going, okay, it's go time, right, Walt? And Walt looks at everybody's ideas and he goes, there's some nice tricks. There's some nice stuff. There's no story. There's no ride. This isn't an attraction of Disneyland's caliber let's shift over to the Pirates ride. And they go and build Pirates from 63 to 66 instead. So let's fast forward to 66. Pirates is wrapping up. All the Imagineers and art directors and stuff are done, finishing touches, time to test it so that it can open in 67. And everybody knows that it's going to be a hit. Like, they know they did something special with Pirates. And a big reason why is a rock star Imagineer named Mark Davis. And Walt says, "Hey, Mark, you did such a great job with Pirates. I want you to be the main art director of the Haunted Mansion. But I want you to work with Claude Coates, and you guys would be co-art directors." Claude Coates is another Imagineer and a seasoned veteran of the Disney company. As an artist, as a animator, he was seen as a fixer because he just kind of got things done and made sure that projects that were about to fall behind caught back up. And
it's interesting. You don't hear about him as often as you hear about Crump or Davis.
So Raleigh Crump is an illusion guy. So Raleigh Crump and Yale Gracie, those are the illusion guys on the ride. So they are the ones that pull off the tricks. Claude Coates was an art director. So he was kind of guiding the vision and not the person that was well, how do I pull off making something look like a ghost is here? Where Claude Coates is oh, we can use Pepper's Ghost. It's an old magician thing, and I can show you how to do it. And he's the kind of guy that knew how to do all the effects and stuff.
Right. So you end up knowing the people that wowed
pull
you.
Off. Oh, who did that? That's so cool. Who pulled that off? Yeah. So what's interesting is that Claude Coates and Mark Davis have very different visions on what a Haunted Mansion should be. Mark Davis wants it to be all gags because that's what he's good at. He's good at jokes. He's good at subverting expectations. So something on the ride that is Mark Davis that we'll talk about more later is in the stretching room, you'll see the picture of the woman holding the parasol, and then all of a sudden she's on a tightrope underneath an alligator. That's what Mark Davis wanted the whole ride to be, just kind of gags.
Mm-hmm.
But Claude Coates is no, it's a haunted mansion. It needs to be scary. I want it to be fun to people that they survived getting scared. He wants the fun to be the scary part. And they feud over this, but their teams all continue to develop all the effects. And eventually there is a solution, and that is to do both. And they're just going to seam the concepts together by building a spooky tension. And then right when you think you're about to get the biggest scare with all these ghosts coming out, it becomes fun and whimsical and full of gags and misdirects. And I think a lot of that has to do with the song, which is a brainchild of Xavier Atencio. He wrote the lyrics. He also wrote the lyrics to Pirates, but not a musician by trade. He was one of Walt's animators and kind of was thrust into the role. The composer was Buddy Baker. And the way that the organ melody in the beginning that's so scary is the same melody line that is the fun song at the end. It's still all grim, grinning ghosts. It's still the same song, and it plays on a loop endlessly. And it's such a key element to figure out how the ride becomes the ride. But there are some other big challenges here.
Before we get into those challenges, can I ask you guys which part do you prefer? Do you prefer the scary part or the fun part?
I don't know that I've ever been scared on the Haunted Mansion, but I know
Not even as a kid?
I never rode the Haunted Mansion until the first time I ever rode the Haunted Mansion was when we went in 2010. That was the first time I ever rode it.
Okay.
But I can differentiate. It seems quite obvious the parts of the ride that are meant to be a little spookier, a little eerie, a little unsettling, and then you can tell when it's fun and jokey. I think both are great. I think they blend it really well. I don't think I prefer one over the other. I think that it's the perfect
mix. Yeah.
It's the perfect blend of what they wanted to do.
And I think that I tend to agree with that. I love a good song. I think Grim Grinning Ghosts is one of the best songs in a theme park. So it's hard for me to say that it's the spooky part that's more fun to me, but that's also a payoff of the spooky part works. Like the fun part is fun because the spooky part is spooky.
Yeah. I think the spooky part's more impressive. Like there's more of the, the tricks of the trade are in there.
Oh yeah.
But I kind of remember those heads that pop up behind the graveyard in the fun section were like they were scary.
Oh,
they would pop up faster
when I was a kid. Yes.
Yeah. I feel like they slowed them down. I wish that they would come
Probably
up.
not, but that's just how you remember it. But
it might just be kid brain.
It could be kid brain. Yeah.
I remember not liking the hands coming out of the crypt. You see like the guy like trying to. I did not like that when I was a kid. So there are a number of challenges with making the Haunted Mansion beyond just the fact that it took a long time and that the two people are feuding over what style it should be. There's another big challenge. Walt passes away during this time.
Ooh.
So while the Haunted Mansion is being built, this is the first thing that opens in Disneyland after Walt passes.
Wow. So Haunted Mansion, not to fast forward to other parts of the show, but I didn't know that the time difference between Haunted Mansion opening in Disneyland and opening up in Florida was probably not that far apart.
They are not. This is 1969 to 1971.
71.
We're talking about. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's really
and
quick.
losing Walt is like that's huge. Like
especially
the fact that
the ride had no vision when he died.
Right. Yeah, and he put all these people together that were part of different trades, and that this isn't what they normally do, and that shows clear leadership. Like you saw something in that person, and inspired them to go out of their wheelhouse and try something new and work hard for you. All of a sudden, that person's gone. Like,
I'm an animator, and you're putting me in charge of writing the song. What?
Yeah, exactly. Like that's not what I do.
There was I think it was the Disney Plus. I think it's still there. I don't know why they would have removed it.
Behind the attraction, yeah.
Behind the attraction.
Just turn this off and watch that.
There's a whole part of one of those episodes where they talk about how immediately after Walt died, there was this whole what are we doing? What do we do now? Like, should we even keep going? We have no idea what he wants. We have no direction. How do we keep any of this going? There was a huge feeling of like, should we even keep doing this?
Yeah, and that's especially true for Walt Disney World. I think the Haunted Mansion probably happens still if they decide to abandon Walt Disney World because of Walt passing. They say we're going to shelf that and just focus on stuff we can do. I think Haunted Mansion and the movies would be stuff that they would be focused on.
It's still far along in production,
Right. I mean, they've been developing this ride for 10 years.
Yeah. And they've promised it to the people.
Yeah, they promised the people in the 50s, it was like 57. Yeah. New Orleans Square is coming soon, and there's going to be a haunted house in it.
There's like shows of him like on TV talking about it, talking about what it's going to be. When in his wonderful world of Disney,
which I'm sure is going to be heavily featured in that Walt animatronic that's coming to Main Street in Disneyland.
We're going to have to do a company retreat to Disneyland.
Fine.
You think so?
You can use your points at the Grand Californian, right?
If you could ever get in. That thing is lock solid.
The animatronic is only coming to Disneyland?
Yeah, it's actually replacing Great Moments with Mr. Lincoln, but they're going to have it so that they're turning the stage into a turntable. So Lincoln's going to be on one side and Walt will be on the other, and they can seasonally rotate out what you get, which show you get. Either you get Lincoln or you get Walt.
They wanted to avoid the riots that would follow.
If they got rid of Great Moments with Mr. Lincoln.
Yeah.
I have a bad feeling about this.
Okay, so I really think that Disney as a movie studio, they keep trying to make the Haunted Mansion movie, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're going about it the wrong way.
Doesn't work.
No, the movie is them trying to build this ride.
Oh, that's a good idea.
That's the movie. That's the Haunted Mansion movie.
I
want Pedro Pascal. Yes, I want Pedro Pascal to be Claude Coates and put Paul Rudd in a bald cap and have him be Mark Davis. And then you can go through how hard it was to open the ride.
Yeah.
And then have the unifying leader of it all die before they could, get to the finish line.
You could Tom Hanks
Bob,
could
I know you're listening.
Reprise his role as Walt Disney.
And he's a decade older. He's starting to look like he could be 60 something, and
that's perfect. I love the idea.
I don't hate that idea at all.
It could be Disney Social Network.
Disney Social Network. I think you could call it the Haunted Mansion. I think that would be great.
No, but I mean, so the Social Network, like as in that behind the curtain Academy Award kind of movie.
Okay,
the Social Network movie where you find out how Facebook was made. We're finding out how the Haunted Mansion was made.
Well, they made a whole. I'm not sure if it was a movie or a show. They made a whole thing about the making of The Godfather. And it wasn't The Godfather, but it was a movie. I think it might have been a show, a miniseries. But it was basically about making the film The Godfather. And it was I've heard it was pretty good. I didn't see it, but in that vein, it's like a fictional telling of nonfiction,
Yes, exactly. That
in
kind
the same
of thing.
vein, really, as the Saving Mr. Banks movie, I guess.
Right? Yeah, it's like Saving Mr. Banks. Yeah,
life.
Yeah, it's like Saving Mr. Banks is about how he made Mary Poppins. This is do a How the Haunted Mansion.
Yeah,
Saving Mr. Mansion.
Saving Mr. Mansion. That's great.
Yeah. So, trials and tribulations of this. Another big issue, the ride type. So, most people understand the concept of haunted houses. They existed well before Disney. But what haunted houses did is they were walk-through attractions. Which means that there's no rider capacity. The rider capacity is completely controlled by how fast the person in front of you decides to walk through a room. So you can't control that.
We're from New York, so no one's walking fast enough. No one's walking fast enough for us.
But also, more important than that, it's wait, let's go back a little bit. Ride capacity is just how many guests can enjoy an attraction in an hour, theoretically. So something like Pirates is a boat attraction. It loads a lot of people at once. It's moving a lot because the water is always moving. It's incredible ride capacity. Something that's 2,500, 3,000 people an hour get to see it. That's why you never see Pirates with an hour-long wait. It just doesn't happen because the ride capacity is just too good. For it to be over an hour, the entire Disney park would have to be at capacity, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Haunted Mansion is also one that doesn't frequently have a long wait.
It does very well. And a big reason why is how they devised the ride vehicle. So a walk-through attraction, impossible. they just did a boat with pirates, and you can't put a boat in a house. Like, that's silly. All of the pretzel-style dark rides that they've been using in the parks also have capacity issues because they want it to be as close to matching Pirates' capacity as possible. But at the World's Fair, they did the first version of a people mover, and it was people sat in a Ford Mustang, and they drove, and it was basically a conveyor belt of Ford Mustangs, and it took you around and it gave you the history of a car. That's the very first people mover. And they were like, that's a good system. However, they took it even a step farther by giving the ride vehicles the ability to spin, so you can show guests an optimal view of the scenes and effects. So they invented a new ride system called the Omni Mover, which is omnidirectional plus people mover. So Omni from omnidirectional, so Omni Mover.
I always wondered why it was Omni.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Do not pull down on the safety bar, please. I will lower it for you.
So finally, they figure out the ride vehicles. Omni is going to be this new Omni Mover. But Disneyland being a theme park, they have a lot to figure out with hiding the show building, because you're not actually in the mansion for the ride. The ride isn't right. The ride building is on the other side of the berm, and so the berm is like this rim around the park that kind of locks in the theme. It makes you feel like you're still in Disneyland,
which is important,
hugely important.
Because outside of Disneyland, it's not like
it's a town. No, it's Anaheim streets with restaurants and motels and all sorts of stuff. Just across the street.
Yeah.
So figuring out how to get people through the berm or over the berm or under the berm is a big problem. And Yale Gracie.
That's such an old name.
I know, it's such an old man name. Raleigh Crump and Yale Gracie, such
Raleigh
old man.
Crump. Raleigh Crump sounds like
they don't make names like that.
Old Imagineer names.
They don't make names like that.
Raleigh Crump.
All the old Imagineers, their names,
except for Mark Davis.
Whenever I hear Davis, I'm like,
Mark Davis. I always think of Jim Davis. I'm always like, oh, that's the Garfield guy.
The Garfield guy.
Calm down, Rover. I was only kidding.
So Yale Gracie, 10 out of 10 name.
Yep.
He's thinking about the berm. He's saying, how do we get people through the berm, over the berm, into the show building? And he has his answer. He's going to kill two birds with one stone. He's going to set the tone for the ride while getting guests in a position to cross under the berm. He invented a thing that he's calling the stretching room.
Nice.
It's a pre-show. It's the one that we all know. It's the one that the most annoying person on the ride recites.
Your cadaverous pallor betrays an aura of foreboding. Almost as though you sense a disquieting metamorphosis.
Did we talk about that on our pet peeves episode?
Yeah, we definitely did.
I hate it when people
recite
do
the spiel. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I hate it. I hate being in a room full of people that are gonna just recite the entire thing.
I think I would like it more.
The Haunted Mansion is a great thing with terrible fans.
That's not impressive. No one is impressed by you being able to do this.
That's true. I would like it more if it was like a dedicated one-time showing, like when you go see Rocky Horror Picture at a movie theater, and it becomes like an event. If that was like when it's 10 o'clock at night, like the last ride of the day is like special, and people are
the Haunted Mansion sing along.
I guess I don't know, something like that.
Yeah, like the Taylor Swift era's movie, the sing along version.
Yeah.
It's the version where all the nerds can come and
give them one like, on Friday the 13th we do this or whatever, something, Some people get,
but it's after 10 o'clock. Funny. It's after 10 o'clock, so people can curse if they want.
Yes, we can say whatever the hell we want. So Yale Gracie, he invents the stretching room. And what the stretching room is doing, it's it's actually just an open-topped elevator. So in Disneyland, it's taking you down about 6 to 8 feet. It's taking you down like you're going, and it's the room is stretching because you're going down, and it's revealing.
Right.
The picture's getting larger and larger, and there are these weird gags, like I mentioned previously, like the woman in the parasol. Oh, she's on a tightrope. Oh, she's over an alligator. And it's just like, so all of these things, this is a picture of a guy. Oh, wait, no, it's a guy standing on a guy. So it's like all these like little like visual gags while the spooky voice is telling setting the tone of the story. So like it's one room that really sets the tone for the ride. And it is also an ingenious way to get people out through the berm and onto the ride.
Do not pull down on the safety bar, please. I will lower it for you.
Haunted Mansion, obviously insanely successful. So much so that it was immediately greenlit to be one of the headline attractions at Walt Disney World.
Yeah. When you do the Keys to the Kingdom tour, the Haunted Mansion is the like premier attraction, and they tell you that story, and I always loved that because they do the same thing in Disney World, but it's just a practical effect. You're not going anywhere.
Yes, you don't have to.
In Disneyland, you're actually going
down.
You're actually going down, but in Disney World, the room is just rising up. The top of the room is just rising up a little bit, and it's the same effect, but you're not actually moving.
Sean, you're ruining my story for next week.
Yikes.
Oh, no. I guess we'll have to hear less of you.
Yikes. So that is the story of the Haunted Mansion at Disneyland, abridged, of course.
That was abridged?
Yeah. It could have been 2 bridges.
Well, make sure to come back next week for the continuation of our series, The Spotlight on Haunted Mansion.
Yeah.
But for now, JJ, do you think we have some time for a game?
I thought you'd never ask.
It's because I usually never going to ask either. Yeah.
No one ever asks. I'm usually the one doing the asking.
Awesome. Let's get into a game. We haven't done one in a while, and I feel like
we did one last week.
I was going to say.
Oh, we did.
We played the largest game of Match 5 of all time.
That's right.
Okay, guys, we are back with another game, another fan favorite game of ours, Reedy Rangers.
We have fans?
Well, I guess maybe a geek favorite, maybe.
Yeah, I think it's more of our favorite.
Yeah, yes. It's a geek favorite game.
We are our own fans.
Chip and Dale are very much what have you done lately for me types of bosses. So they're back to test you guys again to see who is the superior sleuth and will be their assistant at the Reedy Rangers.
Okay.
So for people who haven't heard us play Reedy Rangers before, here are the rules. I'm going to read a series of short clues that get progressively easier. If you think you know the answer, buzz in by saying your name. Each answer has 9 clues and is therefore worth up to 9 points. You're going to get more points the sooner your answer. However, once you answer, you can't answer a second time until your opponent gives an answer. The person with the most points wins and rejoins the Reedy Rangers. You guys have each won this game before. And this is the 3rd time. So this is maybe the rubber match.
Oh, I'm excited.
All right. Are you guys ready for the first prompt?
Let's do it.
Yes, prompt master.
All right. Okay.
Yes, prompt master.
The first, jeez, this is a family podcast. The first clue is IP. The second, so no one's answering, right? With IP.
Oh, I mean,
Andrew, you want to and waste a guess?
I know. Well, no. I mean, you have a tendency to do that, to just take a shot in the dark side.
Like, can I give 3 answers?
Yeah. The second one is Epcot. Still nobody. Third clue, attraction. Well,
You're not getting us on this.
Something.
Well,
fourth clue, water.
Andrew.
Sean.
I heard Andrew first. I don't know if that was.
Heard me first, obviously.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, no, go ahead and get it wrong so I can eliminate a possible answer.
Frozen Ever After.
Incorrect.
The Three Caballeros.
Oh, also incorrect.
All right, so now we're back to both of us can go in.
Oh. Next clue.
Oh.
Well,
can I? Okay, no. Can I go? Can I answer before you give your next clue?
Well, it's.
Or do we have to wait for the next clue?
Wouldn't that be two answers?
I think we have to, because I got two guesses. I think I have to give a clue.
Okay.
So the next clue is world nature.
Sean,
you got it. What is it?
It's Moana, right?
Moana's Journey of Water.
It could have also been Nemo.
It still could have been Nemo. Yes, it still could have been Nemo. It was surprising to me that water didn't narrow it down, because there are still 4 IP-based rides in the park that has the least IP that involve water.
Yes.
Okay, Sean is up 4-0 after the first round. Here is the next topic, next prompt, next answer. I don't know. Well, next crime to solve. It is sleuthing.
I like crime. Crime is good.
Okay.
Don't take that and use that as a clip. Crime is good.
I like crime.
There it is.
For me.
Yeah, it's going to be the first thing that goes viral of our video based content. Okay. First clue is snack. The second clue is savory. The third clue is imported. The fourth clue is resort.
I'll take a guess.
Okay.
Is it? I don't know the name of it, if there's an actual name of it, but is it the giant mozzarella stick?
It is the giant mozzarella stick. Fantastic guess.
How is that? Because it's Italian? A mozzarella stick is Italian?
Blue Ribbon Corn Dogs, the place where you buy it from, was at downtown Disney in California. And
that's not imported. That's the same
imported.
Country.
Yes, it was imported from Disneyland. It was an imported. It's a restaurant that existed in Disneyland that they brought to Disney World.
See, you lost on semantics.
That's not imported. That's just...
It was the third clue after snack and savory.
Do you think they paid a tariff on it?
They did not pay a tariff on it. States can't tariff other states.
Not yet. It's coming from California. If we can, there's going to be a California tariff. You know it.
No, actually, I'm pretty sure there was a Supreme Court case against that. But
ooh, what's that sound? It's people no longer listening to the podcast.
Okay, so Sean gets another 6 points. So it's 10-0, Sean.
All
right. Third crime. Still don't know what to call the answers to these, but first clue, Epcot. Second clue, attraction. Third clue, not opening day. Oh, okay.
Andrew. Horizons.
No. So, Sean, you can keep going. You can keep getting clues until...
I guess it would benefit me to take the free clue.
Yeah, it does benefit you to get that. Replacement.
When can I start guessing in?
When Sean guesses.
After I give my next guess. And
didn't we say there was a limit that after two more clues I can guess?
I'm going to give a guess.
Yeah, he can give a guess now, or he could get another clue and then do a guess.
Oh, okay.
Is it Ellen's Energy Adventure?
It is not.
Okay.
That was a good guess, though.
Next.
Andrew.
Already.
Next clue.
Wow.
Test Track.
Man, he's on the board. It's Test Track.
It is. I guess. Well, replacement. What did it replace?
World of Motion.
Yeah.
And then, so the next one was going to be World Discovery, then Refurb, because currently refurbed. Car, loud, GM.
Loud.
It is loud. You can hear that
It
thing.
is very loud.
You can hear that thing from France. So it's 10-6. Sean is still in the lead. We've got 1, 2, 3. Oh, we're at the halfway point.
All right.
I got 3 more prompts. And here we go. First clue, restaurant. Second clue, popular. Yeah, I know.
Popular with JJ?
Yeah, right. What's the definition of popular here? Popular on the podcast?
Third clue, quick service.
Andrew.
Oh,
I gotta catch up. You know what
wow.
I mean? The Thule Canteen.
My God, how did you get that?
Seriously?
Yeah. Next one was exotic.
Wow.
Out of this world, Animal Kingdom.
He would have gotten this before me because it would have taken me a while to remember the name of that place.
Yeah,
that's the one in Pandora, right?
Cheeseburger Pod Bowl.
You could have probably said. I mean, we would take the quick service in Pandora.
Yeah, you could. Yeah, I would have accepted not knowing the name. But oh man, 7 points. That is a way to turn a game around. All right, we got 2 more clues. It's anybody's game. 13-10. Andrew's in the lead. First clue of the penultimate crime. Still not sold on what these things are.
I like it. And I like though how uncertain you are of it.
Thank you.
It makes it even better.
Okay. First clue is drink. Second clue is Epcot. Third clue. What? Did you say something?
I said we're all thinking it.
Third clue is World Showcase. Fourth clue is Frozen.
Sean.
The
Grand Marnier Grey Goose slushy.
It is not.
I will take another clue. Can I describe it?
Describe your clue?
You got to guess.
No, describe the answer. I don't know the name of it.
Oh, yes. Oh. Yeah, you have to. This is a formal guess, though.
This is a formal guess.
Okay.
The Viking coffee.
Yeah, it's the Viking coffee.
That's the exact name of the drink.
Oh, that's the name?
Yeah,
it's
just, it's it. It's the Viking coffee.
Describe it by saying the name of the drink.
I thought it had a Nordish name or something.
I think that puts it away. That's it.
Yeah, I got to Frozen. It was just it. It was at Frozen. So that's another 6 points. So it's 19-10. You can tie, Sean.
Does that mean I just have to read your mind and shout something
out? You can
tie.
I read the first clue and you guess it right.
The first clue.
All right.
I'm saying there's a chance. First clue.
Walt Disney World.
No, imagine. The first clue is view.
Okay. This is like 2 seconds left on the clock.
Yeah,
buzzer beater.
You're Jalen Brunson. It's the NBA playoffs right now, in case people are wondering.
They're getting hosed right now.
Oh, yeah. I am not watching because I am producing a podcast.
Okay, a view. We're going to go with Topolino's Terrace.
Andrew's smiling like he thinks he knows the answer. That's incorrect. It is not Topolino's Terrace.
Is it California Grill?
It is not California Grill.
Okay. So,
do you want me to? Do you want to finish up?
Yeah, I want to see if I have to have a respectable loss.
Okay. The next clue is attraction. You guys have both guessed, so it's anybody's.
I guess is it Tower of Terror?
It is not Tower of Terror.
He said restaurant. Did he?
No, he said view.
No, I said view, and then I said attraction.
Oh, we just
both guessed restaurant.
We just did restaurant.
Yeah, you guessed restaurants when I said view.
Attraction with a view. Is it the Astro Orbiter?
It is not.
Okay.
So you guys have both guessed twice. Okay, next clue. Going up.
Space restaurant. The space restaurant.
No, it's not. It's an attraction.
I think I have a better guess, but I have to wait for Andrew. And the points I can get are just plummeting.
So, is it Slinky?
No, it's not Slinky.
Okay, that was his guess.
Yeah. Next one, you're not gonna get. I don't know if anyone's gonna. Ariel.
Okay, is it the hot air balloon at Disney Springs?
It is the hot air balloon at Disney Springs. Which did you know it had a name?
Does it have a name? Oh no, of course it has a name. Is it something like Carnival?
I'll give you.
No?
I would give you extra points if you knew the name, because I had no idea before I looked this up.
I don't know it off the top of my head, but I've heard.
It's actually the name of the. It's the name of the company that designed it.
Oh, well, okay. Yeah, no idea.
It's called Aerophile.
Oh, interesting.
Because people who go on it are an aerophile.
Yeah, I get. You're right. So other ones I would have put after that was going to be Weenie, Closed for Wind, Disney Springs, Paid, Helium.
Oh man, I was actually thinking of that balloon after we both got the second one wrong, but
so with a score of 19-15, Andrew rejoins his best buds Chip and Dale at the Reedy Rangers Detective Agency.
Do I get a star right here?
2-time winner?
No, just because I'm a detective now.
Oh, a badge, not a star.
A badge.
Yeah, it would probably be called a badge if you were a detective.
But I want it in the shape of a star because,
because you're a star.
You're an old-timey sheriff.
So I'm an old-timey sheriff with an old-timey name. I'm going to pick one of these Imagineers' names. I'm going to assume that name.
Oh, identity theft is a crime. You know that, right?
A crime.
Well,
we're doing crimes here.
We're gonna see if the Reedy Rangers can solve that crime.
Okay, Sean, you want to take us out?
Thanks for listening to another episode of the ReedyGeeks podcast. Like, rate, and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Any questions, comments, concerns, future topic ideas, or nicknames, email us at ReedyGeeks@gmail.com and check us out on our socials at ReedyGeeks. We'll see you next time.
Hurry back. Hurry back. Be sure to bring your death certificate.
This week's Honest Send-Off comes courtesy of Little Leota. If you have an honest send-off that you want played at the end of one of our episodes, please submit an audio clip to us via our email address, ReedyGeeks@gmail.com. ReedyGeeks, a Walt Disney World podcast, is hosted and executive produced by Andrew Shopey, Sean Murphy, and JJ Hefner. Music and audio engineering by JJ Hefner.
Bon voyage!